Hello and welcome to yet another Arsenal podcast. I'm Mark and I am here with Anfield 89 veteran Richard. How you doing, Rich?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good. Looking back over 2 of 4 away fixtures that we've got across 4 different competitions. The quad is still on, so we'll be looking back at Portsmouth and Chelsea. Chelsea was last night as we record this, but Portsmouth, have you ever been to Fratton Park?
No, I haven't. But there's a lot to get into. That was quite an enjoyable game. I enjoyed that.
Before we get into that, I'm going to say I've been to Fratton Park twice, but I've only seen one game because
I remember your other trip.
So we went to go and see Portsmouth at Fratton Park when they're in the Premier League, and the weather conditions were not too dissimilar to how they were on, what day was it? Sunday. On Sunday morning, very, very wet. And as me and my other mate drove into the Portsmouth car park, we got the news that the game had been called off because someone had tipped a load of sand down the drains, and believe it or not great for drainage, that particular thing. So we drove home, but I got home probably later than I would have done had the game been on, because as I was driving back down the M3, my windscreen wiper, my car broke, and so I, rather ingeniously, I thought, went into the boot, got some golf shoes out and tied the mechanism together with a shoelace from the golf shoe. What a clever boy. What a clever boy.
And what was the outcome?
I'd locked my keys in the boot and therefore we were stuck.
I'll never forget that message.
So I had to drive back down there one Wednesday night as we drew 1-1 in a rather forgettable game. But it didn't have a roof on the away end in those days. And I think they changed that. And it definitely makes a difference to the atmosphere. Trying to generate songs and atmosphere when all the voices just disappear into the sky, very difficult to do. But we went down there, and Portsmouth fortunes have changed remarkably over the last few years since that fateful rainy afternoon, and was fairly confident that a rotated team would be able to go and do the business. So when you saw the lineup, that's what you were expecting, wasn't it?
Business as usual. Yeah, I thought that's what I wanted. That was a team I was pleased with. There was a nice balance of experience, solidity, and some nice attacking punch. I was pleased with it. Yeah,
how pleased were you when we went 1-0 down after 3 minutes?
Honestly, I genuinely wasn't worried. I thought,
I was worried.
Let's just make the game more interesting. I thought, here we go, a proper cup tie. We just don't see enough of those anymore. Where, give Portsmouth their due, they came they had a go. They thought they're not just going to sit in a low block and hope to nick something. They came and had a go, and that made it a fun game.
It did make it a fun game, but they did end up on the end of a bit of a chasing. So was going for it the right thing to do for them? And that's
would they have ended up losing 3-1 anyway by set pieces?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I mean, it wasn't as if we had tore them open, got back into it through scintillating play. Anyway, it was set piece FC ole. And we've said previously, I couldn't give a fuck if we scored 12 goals between now and the end of the season, won every game 1-0 from own goals from corners, if it meant we won the league. I couldn't give 2 shits about that. And
if you've got a weapon, use it.
Yeah. So I think we spoke about this before, but I remember listening to, I think it was one of the pundits, anyway, don't know which, they would say that wonder why there was such an excitement in the ground whenever you got a corner. Like this is, I don't mean us particularly, I just mean over the years, just a corner. And I think that is the way that professionals used to view those set pieces. It's just a corner, you sling it in the box and then probably have to run back. Which seems mad to me, because I think the fan view of corners, there's loads of players in the box, let's try and score a goal, is the right one. And as you say, if you've got players that you can spend the time and develop that. It's all about the delivery, though, isn't it? You can block out whoever you want, and we've had Rice, we've had Saka knocking in, so dangerous, and now I think we can add Madueke to that list. He's pretty decent delivery.
He proved it at Fratton Park. I mean, and it was a different delivery to what we're used to. Normally, it's a bit deeper. Obviously, the first goal, we seem to be going more. We'd obviously done our homework, and we knew. I mean, it was Portsmouth fans and pundits were saying they are notoriously weak when it comes to set pieces. Obviously, the 180 backroom staff had done their homework, and we went for a lot of near post, which is nice that we can mix it up. It's not just the same delivery. And can you stop that? And the proof was in the pudding.
Yeah, he had a good game as well, Medwick. We'll come on to the bit that he did do so well at. But I think he's ideal for those sort of games where, he can get the ball, and whatever you say about his output, he can move with the ball down the pitch, and that in itself is valuable, isn't it?
It's an outlet. It's a pressure valve. It's a release valve, isn't it? If you're under pressure, you get the ball out to the right, and they're immediately going backwards.
Yeah, and I felt they struggled against him. I think most top, if you allow him a run at you, you're going to be in trouble no matter what level you are. I mean, it's whether he can deliver a cross or a shot at the end of it all is the real question. But skill-wise and pace and power and directness, I think he's a real good alternative to Saka. I don't think Saka's playing amazingly well at the moment.
No, I don't think so. I don't think he's slightly out of form. But when you have such a high standard and a consistent standard like he has, it's noticeable. The only other thing I'd say about Madueke is I'd like to see him go inside every now and again. He's going outside.
No, he's going inside, isn't he? He's going inside. He's left-footed.
Yeah, but he doesn't. I mean, for the penalty, he went. Yeah, sorry. He went. He go outside. Sorry, I'd like to see him go both ways rather than just one. It seems to be.
Yeah. Well, Saka can definitely do that, and I've noticed him do it more and more often. And it's so powerful because when you do get these inverted wingers, you know that they want to come on inside, and you show them the outside. If you get a player that goes, all right, I'll go outside to deliver a really dangerous cross, that is a powerful weapon. And I think, Arteta's a great coach. Like, he's a developer of players as well, which is something I think he's very underrated about him. You know how intense he is and attention to detail. But I think he's a brilliant developer of players as well, something that doesn't really get spoken about. And the hope is they've got the raw materials there to get someone who's got a lot of skill, a lot of pace, a lot of potential, still relatively young. I mean, he's not like a kid, but he's not exactly long in the tooth. And, I think that his output does need to improve. And his penalty taking needs to improve.
Oh. The stutter step, please. I never want to see the stutter step again. I can't stand it. I can't stand those run-ups.
No, I don't like it. But he did do like 90% of everything. He sent the goal in the wrong way. It wasn't the stutter step that was the problem, I don't think.
It was the fit. But I think, I don't know. I think for me, I like the natural momentum of someone having the run-up to the ball. And it just it looks more natural, and I'm sure it feels more natural as well, rather than that wanky little chicken
I always
step.
Think the ideal penalty is if you cast your mind back to AFCON, the previous edition, and Sadio Mane scores the winning penalty. Go and have a look on YouTube about that's how to take a penalty. He ran up to it as fast as he could, booted it as hard as he could in the corner.
Stop that.
That's the sort of penalty I like. I don't even think the goalie had finished his dive before it had ricocheted out the back of the net. Love those sort of penalties. But penalties are good when they go in and they're shit when they don't. I've seen a couple of people mess up Panenkas recently, and they're always commentators are all the same, aren't they? Oh, why did he do that? Well, because he thought that was a good way of scoring.
Yeah, it's always a bad penalty if you don't score. That's the end of it. But if it had gone in, they'd have commented on his bravery and ingenuity and stuff like that. And then it's.
I mean,
I knew we were in control.
Stuart Pearce's penalty against West Ham wasn't necessarily a bad penalty, was it? He hit it hard and just happened to hit the goalie, So if he'd have Panenka that, it'd have gone in.
Unlike Chris Waddles, which still hasn't come down yet.
Yeah, that's still orbiting. So we're nothing but topical. Talking about 36-year-old penalties. Someone else who had a good afternoon was Gabriel Martinelli.
Yeah, and it was good to see. He obviously he's had his detractors over the last couple of seasons, and we know his limitations. But I think with him, he had not just the goals. I think he had a good game. I think with him, it's a confidence thing. When he knows he's got the beating of a fullback, he opens up his own playbook. He tries more.
He does. Yeah. I think he is a bit more of a risk taker, isn't he? When he knows he's got him, which I think is fair, right? I mean, if you haven't got a beating of your player, what do you want to get tackled for? You might as well keep the ball. Yeah,
but a hat trick, especially after the media furore from the Liverpool game. I think it was I've seen some great AI media posts about that. I think there's one of Martinelli picking what's his name up and throwing him into the stands, which was quite enjoyable.
Well, for some of the reaction, you might think he did actually do that. I've got to say, on a slot, not necessarily in the post game. I don't think post game reveals the best of anyone's character, like right afterwards in the tunnel. But in the press conference afterwards, he said, "Well, he didn't think he was injured. People play act all the time, and so get on with it. Get on with it." And the sad thing is that Conor Bradley's that's quite a serious injury. So
it's a season ending. Yeah, but going back to Martinelli, he's a low key good header of the ball. He really is. He's good in the air. He's not. And when we say he's not massive, I'm sure if you met him, you say, "Fucking hell!" But compared to your Gabriels of this world, he's not massive, but he's good in the air. And near part. I mean, our first goal was a delicious, as it was drawn up, set piece. I think it hit 8 people. It hit 8 people and a dog on the way in. It was, but it caused chaos, and from chaos comes goals in a lot of situations.
I actually seen Orient score a chaos goal at that end of the ground, which gives you some indication of where Portsmouth have been in the last few years. Literally came off the centre arse of his arse and winning. So it must be something about that goal. I was thinking about maybe there's some sort of magnet in the goal, but Martinelli went through and put one wide as well.
I don't mind that. That was a lovely move. It was a lovely move, and he just bent it too far around the post. But you could see he had the bit between his teeth. And as the game went on, we showed our class really. But I mean, what do you think about Kepa for the first goal? What are your thoughts?
I've got a number of thoughts about Kepa.
Yeah.
So he's letting 3 goals this week, and I don't think he's been brilliant on any of them. But you know what? Let's be a bit kind. I mean, he's hardly played. He comes in. He has a first save on a swirly, greasy pitch. He doesn't do brilliantly. And he gets punished for it. So
he just pushed it straight out. Unfortunately, that was the issue.
Yeah, it was a mistake, but overall, I probably will be quite critical in coming minutes of Kepa, but I want to put that in the context of that is exactly who your second choice goalie's got to be, right? Could you realistically ask for anyone better than him as a
not really
like a distinct number 2?
Not really. His distribution's pretty good. Obviously, it's not Raya levels, but how many keepers are, and he's a backup goalkeeper. We pay peanuts for him. He's got Premier League experience. ultimately you can't really get much better than we've got.
Well, if we get to the League Cup final, or even the FA Cup final, do you think he'll play Kepa as well in that? Or will he...
Not against City. I think it's a cup final. Yeah, it's Arteta. I think you should drop Arshavin to give the rest of the team confidence in winning without him. That's the story. Yeah, no, I think, especially if we're playing City, because we know we're going to be chasing the league. I think the whole mentality behind it, between the two clubs, we're the two superpowers in the Premier League at the moment. I can't see us going with a lighter side in a cup final. I just can't.
I don't know. I mean, he played basically let's get on to the Chelsea game then. So he played basically the full team last night. You know, the fittest available team. Lewis Skelly didn't get off the bench. Again, might reflect where his form currently is. I would have played that team actually. Wyatt right back and Timber left back. But he played the cup goalkeeper in the cup. So why would he drop him for the final? I think well, we're not there yet, and this reminds me a little bit of when there was three of us round the TV arguing who might go to the League Cup final, as we were in the lead against Wigan at home, just as a big goal kick in the direction of Jason Roberts was launched, and that settled that debate. None of us were going. So let's not get too ahead of ourselves last night. But do you know what? I mean, I've said this before. I've been watching these games in abject terror, the league games, like really nervous about all of them. Portsmouth I found as a nice little palate cleanser. I didn't feel very tense about that. And last night I didn't feel very tense going into that until we went 1-0 up. And I thought, oh, God, we're in the league now. I don't want to lose this. But I thought first half last night particularly, they were brilliant. Really, really good.
We are a better team from front to back than Chelsea. Yeah. It's the class is even... Okay, you've got Timber who, I mean, let's be perfectly honest, could play anywhere. You've got your right back playing left back. You've got Ben White coming back into the side. I'm a big fan of White's. The centre-half pairing, there is no better. And for me, I think Gabriel was getting all the plaudits at the moment. Saliba is playing so well. Not just his defending, but the way he's passing the ball, bringing it forwards. He's taking his game to another level. But Big Gabby scoring all the goals. I mean, you hear his song every 30 seconds at the moment. But as a pairing, there's no one else I would have. We're just better than them, and irrespective of the score, we outclassed them all over the pitch. Unfortunately, my feeling at the moment, and it can't just be me because I listened to another well-known Arsenal podcast, and my exact thoughts, the word for word, were relayed by one of the. We are uncomfortable being comfortable. If we go 2 goals up, we don't like it. We need that. For some reason, we start playing crap. I don't know why. Why has everything got to be a goal? Why is it? Why we only got to win by 1 goal? Could we win by a couple more, please?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but there's obviously a very good reason for that, because that high press that we obviously identified that they were going to play it out from the back, and they were going to try and get the passes into midfield centrally. And we obviously felt, right, that is not happening. And that is, I felt they struggled to get out their own half, Chelsea. Obviously, they had like a few breaks, but building up play, they were totally suffocated. But that has a physical cost to it, and you can't just keep doing those sprints all the time. So when you're 2-0 up, why not sit back? You can't just... You can't play at that intensity every game, all game, for an entire season.
Yeah.
You just can't. And there's a natural sitting back, and they trust themselves not to let in goals. Like, we'll sit back, and of course we're watching it as fans, like behind the sofa. Oh God, please don't let in a goal. But I think it's a very sensible thing for professionals to do, like in the cold light of day. When I look back, I can't see it. And that performance overall last night, if they'd have won 5-1, you'd have thought, what's so unfair about that? So the first goal, a corner, chaos again. Ben White this time. It was remarkable how similar to the Man City VAR goal it actually turned out to be, really. And I actually thought they were going to disallow it for that reason.
Yeah. I looked at it and went, oh, yeah, we've literally seen this in the night before, this situation. I don't think that goal should have been disallowed in the City game. I've got to be perfectly honest, whatever I think of City, goal shouldn't have been disallowed. And what's annoying about VAR, it's re-refereeing games now. It's not clear. The clear and obvious has gone out the window. They're looking for the minutiae in a sport which is a low-scoring game. That's got to stop in my book. But
yeah,
it's a goal.
It's the looking for reasons. I prefer it if like a ref said, "Could you just check if he was pulling his shirt?" Rather than going through everything. Oh, look, he's pushing him there. He's doing this. He's doing that. Rather than looking at it from that point of view, I would much rather the referee be the director of when to go for VAR or not.
Yeah.
So, because I think there's a real behavioural thing here where they're obviously deferring to it. Like, they don't want to give decisions sometimes. And they say, wait, it's being checked. You can see it when their players are still complaining. And you can say, he points to his ear and says it's being checked. Right, that's fine. But I would like instead of VAR say, I'll have a look at that, I would like the ref to say, did he, and then describe what he thought happened. He looks, one or two replays, and say, yeah, that's pretty much what happened, and get on with it, rather than like, oh, did he stud? Like, if the ref gives a penalty, then, and he turns out he's like one of the little threads of his boot flicked the ball or whatever, it's still a penalty, isn't it, really? It's like, it still impeded the player. And
then what makes me laugh is, okay, let's rewind to the 30 seconds before that when because defenders for every team, this isn't just Chelsea, it's every team, get carte blanche to do what they like in the box. I saw Zubimendi get grabbed around the neck on more than one occasion last night. They, hands around the waist, but they look at that. They distill that moment, that rude. 2 or 3 seconds. But no, it was another set piece goal. Their goalkeeper. I mean, we have obviously discussed Kepa. I take Kepa over him. That's at least their starting goal. They've spent £2 billion, and that's what they've ended up with.
I know. Well, the second goal was even worse. I mean, lots of keepers are struggling in this sort of trend of crowding them out. Loads of people there. Yeah. They can't see what they meant to do. And I do we'll come to this with the goal. I just think these keepers have got to be stronger. They are too busy looking for fouls when really they could just plough through 3 players, punch the ball away, and as long as they don't punch someone's head, they'll probably be fine. But instead, they're allowing themselves to be bullied in this. This is all goalies as well, I think, are prone to this. Oh, look, there's so many, he pushed me, or whatever it was. Know that that's happening and be stronger. Be stronger. Don't flop to the floor looking for a foul. Right? Just get to the ball, because you're probably bigger than everyone else, and you can use your fucking hands, right? So.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the best goalkeepers I ever played with, Tony. I mean, he was built like a wardrobe, right? And I liked his tactic. It was very simple. Lining up for the corner, look at the centre forward, go, number 9. You come anywhere near me, I'm taking your fucking head off. Works.
That sounds like a non-VAR scenario there. So you can
you have to cover your mouth.
And also not do it. But I think we'll call that plan B. But goalies in general need to be a lot more strong and dominant at corners, rather than looking. He's because I always think you're taking a chance when you try and like when we let a goal in against Newcastle and Voltemada scored. Gabriel tried to make more of the foul that he had, and he did get a bit of a nudge. But I think it's taking too much of a risk to flop to the floor and expose either your goal or let them have a free header and rely on these idiot refs to. I think he would have been better jumping backwards and making the header at Newcastle more difficult. Or Kepa last night for the second goal. I think just stand up, and then you would be on your feet, and maybe he would have been in position to save the goal rather than laying on his fucking arse on the other side.
Yeah.
But I mean, that is, as you say, splitting hairs a little bit, given what you could have as Sanchez. Fucking, what was he doing for that second goal?
He had both hands. He managed to roll under his hands. He had his hands on it.
Yeah,
I mean, the one thing I did notice for a Premier League team, and I haven't seen it in many years, they had like mud in the 6-yard box. I mean, this is 1980. What's going on here? Like, we've got this 80-20 weave on our pitch. I mean, you don't see a spot of mud at the Emirates ever.
I know. I thought the ball was running a bit funny in the corners as well. It was holding up a little bit, which
it's all the shit they put on a pitch, isn't it?
But it was rainy. But I remember, I think, if you remember the game away at Anfield, it's the one where Declan Rice was on a 1v7 breakaway. And there was a little bobble that meant that Trent hit the bar instead of burying it in the net. That game, they had soaked that pitch. And it had rained as well. So I wonder, Liam Rossini, he seems like he's a bit too fucking clever. He's so good, I think. Well, have you seen this quote?
Oh, what about his...
when you manage in English, that is man and age. So you're literally aging men.
It's just so Brent, isn't it? It's so David Brent. I mean, he's a young manager. Whether he opted to take that job or was told to take that job is something open to.
You take it.
You take it.
I think the Chelsea job is one of those in world football where it's a free hit as you're a manager. That why wouldn't you want to? First of all, why wouldn't you want to manage in the Premier League? And also, it's a reputation-free, largely job because everyone gets sacked from Chelsea. So, what chance you got? And you probably earn yourself a few quid out of it. So, I can see exactly why they want to take it.
Oh, totally. There's. I mean, not to stick the knife in, but there's Chelsea, there's Spurs, and there's Man United, where it basically doesn't. They're a box of madhouses. I mean, it doesn't tarnish your reputation at all.
Yeah, Man United in 110 years have appointed 2 good managers. 2 title-winning managers in the last 110 years. I think that's a surprising thing. They've had Busby and they've had Ferguson, and everyone else has been shit. Yeah,
they've reverted to type. This is where they should be. But
it's all those fucking glory hunters. So all those glory hunters from the 90s should have taken a longer-term view.
Oh no! They're falling out of love with the game now. That's what it is. The game's changed.
They
don't like modern football.
Modern football. That's a shame. If they get their third good manager in 110 years, I bet they'll fall right back in love with it. But I was in love with Johnny on the spot, Victor Gyökeres scoring. He had a better game. I wouldn't necessarily say he had a brilliant game, but he didn't do anything shit. He scored, and he held the ball up in the box for the third goal as well. And do you know what I really like? I liked his celebration after the goal. There's something about it I really liked.
Yeah, it was a quick man behind the mask. That's it. And the interesting thing with him, I think he didn't look amazing, but he looked better. I think his overall game, his runs were better. His hold-up play was better than some of his passing. I mean, as horrible as it is, there were sometimes I went, he made that to it got a quick 1-2 and it went to our players. So it's... But
he hasn't been doing that. I mean, I know it does sound harsh to say, but that is, if you're not going to score, you do have to try and knit the play together and not lose it. And he was better at that. I wouldn't say he was good, but he's definitely room for signs of improvement. And he scored. And what's more, we spoke about it when we were more optimistic earlier in the season. Sort of goal that we haven't scored before. The centre forward, right in the middle of the 6-yard box, waiting for the goalie to make a fuck up.
Right, he made a career of those.
Yeah, loads of players have made a career out of that. Why not?
Yeah.
It's all very well sitting on the edge of the box, waiting for a cutback, but sometimes you've got to be in the mix. And he is a player that is in the mix. And I also thought to myself, our players do not make it easy for him either. Like, he got some balls over the top in the first half last night. Absolute shit. Like, what's he meant to do with that?
Yeah.
Like, nowhere near him, giving a defender who's probably quicker than him anyway 10 yards on him. Like, if you want him to do well, you have got to do better than that.
Yeah. And an interesting thing that came out this week is, and it goes back to, he had that injury, but again, like we said about Ødegaard, we don't know how far along he is. Yes, he may be able to play, but how far along in his recovery is he? Because there was an analysis of his stats before the injury and since, and his top speed is down from even beforehand, and the amount of the distance he's travelling is significantly down. So
that's interesting.
Is it that he's getting back up to speed? We've had one striker. He's had to play. He could be doing a lot. Arteta's not going to come out and say that. Certainly, he's not going to come out and say that. Has he been doing a big job for the side that we don't know about?
No, I mean, the biggest evidence I would point to is that he plays. Because Arteta is not someone who plays someone out of sentiment or get yourself into confidence, especially in games like that. He could have easily have played Marino up front if he wanted to yesterday. Yeah. No one would blink to an eyelid. But he played Gyökeres, and he must like him. And there was a moment when Marino had a chance, actually, when he came on. It was actually quite a good save from pretty decent right-footed volley. But
lovely volley.
One of the things I did notice was that the Gyökeres gravitational pull was in full effect. And as Marino went round that, Gyökeres had like 5 players around him.
Yeah, I mean, I know we flip-flop on him a lot on here just from what we see, but we saw him against Saliba and Gabriel, and he didn't give them a second's piece. Yeah. He didn't have a pre-season. I mean, he was hitting shots from all over the place. He hit the bar, I believe he hit the post as well that game. He was a nightmare. He was a real handful for those two centre-halves. If you look at he didn't have the pre-season. He came into a new side, new country, then got the injury. I know. We have. I guess maybe give him some time. Let's see.
Yeah, I do. I thought again last night was green shoots that were kind of sprouting at Burnley before he got injured there as well. I know people say it was only Burnley, but you can only play against who you play against, and he had a good game there. Got injured, and I thought he had a better game. I wouldn't say he had a good game, but in terms of his impact, it was good. But his overall play was better, but still not good. But he scored, and he held that ball up in the box for Zubimendi. He'll get an assist for that. That's one of those assists where it's a bit of a cheap one, though, because
Zubimendi,
all the work is done by your teammate, isn't it?
I can't remember who is Fofana when that saying needed a ticket to get back in. When he took that extra shuffle to the left before he pulled the trigger, Fofana was going hard right. It was hysterical. It was hysterical. And what a lovely team they are. What a lovely, lovely team. I mean, as you know, I mentioned on the last podcast my love of Chelsea. I mean, you got Cucurella. I bet Saka should wear shin pads back and front when he plays him. Yeah,
maybe that's where the holes in his socks come from. I'll put a Cucurella socks on.
and Enzo Fernandez has a face. I think I'd die of exhaustion punching. I would never tire of smacking that face. I can't. He's just if I had to draw Chelsea, I'd draw him. He's just got that. They're just a nasty side.
Had his own problems with racial comments as well, don't forget.
And they made him captain straight afterwards. Say no more. But again...
he had the arse-ache with Zubimendi at the end.
After the game.
Yeah, and he did that sort of weaselly thing where he looked like he just wanted to talk to him, but he actually tried to kick it all off again.
Yeah. And Zubimendi just laughed at him.
Yeah, looking for. Well, he knew that the bigger boys weren't on their way. That's why. Enzo's one of those, and he needs the bigger boys to back him up when he's scrappy doing it.
Yeah.
So much fun.
Yeah, but you look at the score line at the end of the game. Okay, 3-2. Their first goal, I think, it was a slip. Zubamendi slipped at the back post. That's simply. I think that was gave Garnacho the opportunity.
Well, there was a slip in the build-up as well, wasn't there? Like, that's what we were playing, and he went through, and Kepa came flying out of his goal. Did he need to do that? I guess, don't know, seemed to make up his mind, like just close your eyes and hit it. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Kepa does that all the time, and 100 times he saves it, and that was the 101st time it just slips under your body. I was less keen on the corner that they let in, mainly because I just don't like this I've been fouled routine. Stay on your feet, and unless you're actually literally being wrestled to the ground, which very few of them are. But annoying. It was annoying rather than because I was worried that if they'd gone to 3-3, what a performance! Totally, and all that hard work gone for nothing. But as it is, we've got a lead, and I'm pretty confident that team can get us to a final, and I think they should go for it. They should definitely try and win it.
Yeah, now,
a lot of people want the under-14s to play because of the experience of losing a load of players to Newcastle last year, but this is a different squad.
We've got the depth there. It's a trophy. It's another trophy. Okay, it may not be the Champions League or the Premier League or even the FA Cup. Puts a sweet $100,000 in your bin. Ooh. $100,000 for the winners. Woo! But no, joking aside, it's a trophy. It gives that team this group of players that haven't done it as a collective, gives them that winning feeling, and I think that's really important for them. I think we'll do the business against them at home. They're a bit too much of a basket case, bit too much of a flaky side. Yeah, I mean, they're like Scrappy Doo. They like to kick and punch, but when push comes to shove and the football takes place, they're not on our level in any shape or form. They can play out the back. I love it. Keep playing out from the back. You don't have the personnel. You didn't have the personnel out there that can do it.
No. So, and who knows? They might be even more of a mess by the time we play them, because even if Rossini is a great manager, it takes a long time. For that playing out the back, those patterns. It reminded me of Arsenal under Emery when Cech was in goal and he started to play it out. It just didn't look convincing, and Arsenal was setting traps and they were falling right into it. And it was a performance overall that I think deserved a bigger margin of error, a bigger margin of victory. But I can't see Chelsea beating us by 2 goals.
No. And also, we're forgetting, we got a very nice FA Cup draw also, which is nice because in the last few years we seem to have been getting the rough end of the stick with the cup draws, and I was hoping that sort of run would end.
Yeah, Man United, Liverpool, City. Been in there as well. But yeah, Wigan at home. I mean, come on. That is... It's not Macclesfield, but who are?
Yeah. That's it. No, so we could advance in, but importantly again, it's another game where you can rotate, which is important for the league form and the Champions League.
Yeah. So we've got another away game on Saturday. We've got Forest, and then we've got Inter after that. I can't see. I wonder about the Inter game. Is he? Because you know what Arteta's like. He likes to go for everything. He wants to be top of that league, I think. It does give you an advantage in the later round, and I think it gives you a meaningful advantage as well, because if you're first or second, you end up being at home in the second leg, which is statistically is a better. It wasn't the case last year.
I think he'll go not a weakened side, but probably a little bit of rotation. Maybe Madueke.
Yeah.
Maybe a Marino, something like that.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
I don't see too much. Rotation for Inter, but Kairat, send in the clowns.
Yeah, well, hopefully we will be fully qualified by then. You can play, whoever you can manage, whoever needs minutes. Waneri wasn't even on the bench last night, and maybe that was a recovery thing from. I mean, he's so young.
He's 18 years old.
Yeah, apparently he's been turning down loan moves as well. One to Bournemouth, one to West Ham, maybe.
Yeah, I think
for him.
They may have had the offer, but if he knows his pathway at Arsenal, he wouldn't have signed that contract without knowing his clear pathway and what that was going to be. He's not going to jeopardise his career. Yes, he's come through hell end, but he's got his career to look after. A clear pathway has been defined for him and Lewis Skelly.
Yeah, they
may have put offers in for him, but he can say no because he knows what what education is he going to get at West Ham, please? All right, in all seriousness, the training, the development, what he's getting there, it's night and day to what he'll be getting now.
But there's no substitute for minutes on the pitch, and he's not getting.
But then
he'll play against Wigan. He'll play against Kairat probably if he's fit. So that's another 2 games that he'll be on. Maybe he'll be on the bench for the Chelsea game and he'll get on.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you expecting from him at such a young age? I mean,
exactly.
I think it's brilliant. We've got a talent like that, and we're just not relying on him at all. And we can give him the space to develop at their own pace. And you see, like Lewis Skelly is having what I would say is a normal second season for a very, very young player. And so he's not a left back for a start, and maybe he'll end up being in midfield. He's just not having a great time, and the margins are so thin at the top level that Arteta is taking him out the firing line. Yeah. And, Timber made his debut at left back as well for Arsenal, didn't he? So, it's not totally unreasonable to have like a back four of White, Saliba, Gabriel and Timber. I'd take that any day of the week.
Of course. I was watching one of the big Chelsea YouTubers this morning, and he's quite level-headed. He's a big, he raves about Arsenal, and he said, let's be honest, White would start for us. White would start for us at centre-half. Yeah. He's our backup. That's the difference in our level. Our squad is that strong.
Yeah.
So onwards and upwards. So it's Forest. So it's Forest on Sunday, is it, or is it Saturday?
I think it's Saturday.
Perfect. I mean, they're in a sticky place at the moment. They're fighting for points. I expect us to go there and do the business.
Saturday evening can always be a dodgy one. Saturday evening away from home. But, I've got this. But all away games in the Premier League have got the possibility of being a nightmare. So it's about recovery and preparation and being on it. Because going 1-0 down away from home can be a very difficult place to be. Yeah. And I guess all the other results as well will give us some sort of pressure. I don't even know the other mobs. Oh, they've got Man United.
Man U. They got Man United. So anything can happen there.
Yeah. Who have Villa got? They have got... let's have a look. Everton at home. Don't know. Probably fancy Villa there. They've had a good run.
Yeah.
But you never know with Emery, do you? He's quite a streaky... They're playing well, Villa.
They are. But let's see. We're still in the driving seat. 6-point gap. Get another 3 on Saturday, and it's another game out the way. Just keep checking off the games.
Yeah, another game out the way, and we are playing before the other 2 as well. So a win would put us 9 points clear.
Yeah,
even temporarily. And personally, I don't really like it when Sky go, Arsenal have opened up a 9-point gap when you just play first. Do you know what I mean? It's like, but when we're on the decent end of it, Man City in a derby, I know Man United are a basket case, but they are capable of, putting a performance in. Everton, I'm not going to back my... It could be that Villa are second come the end of the game week, and I'll probably live to regret this, but I'd rather Villa be chasing us than...
Yeah, and it could well be, and if we can manifest it into existence, if we win, there is a likelihood of likelihood of a draw between Man U and Man City. and that gives us an 8-point cushion.
Okay, so we will be back after the Forest game, probably, maybe the Inter game as well, depending on what happens and schedules and all the rest of it. But until then, thank you very much for listening. And thank you, Rich. See you soon.
See you later.